Today we are in, where are we?
Oregon.
We're in Oregon and we are guest cooking in Ms Micki's kitchen. And we're going to make a tart, which I had thought was just a slightly loose female back in high school, but apparently it's something you eat also.
Nonna Snowden cooks. The goal is to amuse you and help you keep your family fed.
We are using these beautiful Italian plums, and they are also called prunes, California prunes. They have names, but they dry really well. You can make nice prunes out of them. They come at the end of the summer, and they are great for cooking. First thing we need to do is quarter these, clean them up, and get about a pound, 3/4 of a pound to a pound, that we're going to put them all over the top of our tart.
Oh, so we quartered about that many plums.
Yes, and what we're going to do now is let them sit in some sugar. 1.5 tablespoons of tapioca. And so tapioca is a root, and we use it to make the fruit sit up a little better, otherwise it'd run.
So sit up, I don't understand what that means. It's
gel. Yeah.
Jello.
Like gelin.
So we'd take about 1.5 or so.
Okay.
Tapioca, and that will keep it from getting too runny on top of our pie. We're going to use that, and then we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of, normally you'd use cassis liqueur, but I don't have any, so I have a little port, and this port here is very cherry and plum in flavor, and so this will just wake up the fruit a little bit. So I'd say about 3/4 cup of sugar in there. These plums are pretty sweet, and so you have to watch it with the plums, because they can get too sweet on you, and then you're eating sugar plum. So we're going to stir that up and let it sit.
See, most important tool in the kitchen, the wooden spoon.
Got to have this.
Yes.
It serves so many purposes, especially if they're small children.
That is true.
So we're going to do that and let this sit for about at least 5 minutes. Okay, so what we're going to do is make a shortbread crust. Stick in 1/2 of butter.
And is that real butter?
This is real butter. Normally, when you're baking, you always try to get unsalted butter and use this salt yourself. But if you do use salted butter, all you got to do is cut back on your salt later on in the recipe. What we're going to do now is add some sugar. And I mixed up a little turbinado sugar and regular sugar. This is a raw cane sugar, and it makes nice crust. It's sometimes pretty tasty. What we're going to use here is regular flour, but if you're dieting or if you're conscious about your flour intake, you can also use almond flour. You can also make this a savory quiche and cut out the sugar. Put in goat cheese, raisins, whatever other sweeteners you want to use, honey, and you can make it that way. It's a very adaptable recipe. So I'm going to grab the vanilla.
Okay.
We don't need much, just a dash. And we're going to not put in salt because I did have the salted butter, but normally you'd add salt here.
Okay.
About 1.5 to 2 cups of flour on this recipe, and I put in about a 1/4 cup or 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder.
Baking powder.
That just puffs it up a little. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I usually never measure stuff, so.
It's about that much.
Yeah, just
About
some.
that much.
Just some to flavor it. Maybe even some more. Okay, and so we're going to slowly add this into our butter mixture just to get a crumble. So I'm going to put about a 1/3 of that in and pulse it. Oops. About 2 tablespoons of water. Let's see how that works.
Okay, so we know it's done because why?
We get a nice crumble like this, and we are going to press this into the sides of the pan, and even save a little for the top, so we We want it to just be crumbly and soft. Okay, so what we have here is a spring form pan. I got a couple of these tart pans. The bottoms come out, so it makes it easy to take it out. I think this one would be pretty, but I think we're going to use this because it looks like we got a lot of plums we made.
Yeah.
We got a little carried away cutting them up, I think. So we'll use this one. And what you want to do is take your cooking spray or butter and butter the pans. Okay, so we've taken that crumbled up cookie, shortbread dough, and we're going to press it into the bottom of this pan and up the sides. And if you take your hands and just put a little flour on them, doesn't matter if you get some flour in here, and just work it.
Gotcha.
Press it and work it evenly and up the sides. Take this. It's a good trick. You can use this to press it. And so we want to make a nice loose kind of crust. And so what we've done is put that on the sides and on the bottom, and we poke a bunch of holes in the bottom all over the place because we're going to stick it in the oven and bake it for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees. Now we're going to make the cheese filling.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is take 2 packages of cream cheese at room temperature. Got to make sure these are soft. You don't want hard cheese. I'm going to pulse it a couple times.
Okie doke.
Again, it's going off on me. To that, we're going to add, I think, just 2 eggs.
Let the people see what a fresh egg looks like.
We got a nice big fat yolk. Lots of good.
The yolks are darker.
Yes, and sometimes when you're making something, it turns absolutely orange. So I'm going to dump that in. This is about 1/2 teaspoon. So I'd say 1.5 teaspoons or a teaspoon of this. And then about 1/4 teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon, not much.
Not much.
This stuff is really strong.
Now, I don't think I've ever used almond extract, but I don't do the baking. I'm just not good at it.
Okay, and so what we're going to do is process this until it's completely smooth. So what we've done is we've mixed up a nice cream cheese, custard, cheesecake kind of flavor.
And it is delicious.
And it's sweet enough, and it's got a little kick to it, and I think there's plenty of egg in there. And we just want it to be really smooth. So we have taken our prepared shell out of the oven, and it smells really good.
It does.
And you can see it's puffed up a little, and that's that baking powder. It's not quite just like a regular pie crust. It has a little bit of give. And so we're going to fill this with our custard. I'm trying to get all this goodness in there. All right. So now what we're going to do is take these plums, give them a stir, and we're going to set them into this in a circle. We're going to make it kind of like a giant blooming onion or lotus flower. A lot of people call it lotus flower pattern. So we're going to just load them in there and put them up against the side, go all the way around, and do another layer afterwards until we get it filled up.
Gotcha.
We want as many of these on top as we can get. And I know this seems like it takes a little time, but it looks so pretty when you're done, and you get a lot of flavor.
Oh, see, there's my other problem, making something look pretty.
Yeah, I can see this is not your forte.
No.
We're using up these plums because they're falling off the tree. We're having some bad weather right now, and they won't last. The plums will split on you. Apples don't care so much, but plums don't like the rain. It's going to be very tasty.
It looks delicious already.
Okay, and I'm going to take some of that juice, put it on top.
All right. Whoop.
That's a lot of plums.
Yeah, it is.
And we're just going to put that like that. Put it right on top. And we're going to stick it in the oven. And it's going to be delicious. I'm going to wipe that up first.
It looks tasty.
Okay.
All right, we've got this gorgeous plum tart.
And you can see how it changes. These plums, these Italian plums, are yellow on the inside. When they cook, they get this beautiful pink color, and it comes out, makes a nice juice, and that should gel up real nice once it's cool. It's pretty hot right now. This, you want to keep cool, so put it in your refrigerator.
And how long did we cook it for?
Because this was a deeper, not a flat tart pan, but it's a deep tart pan, it ended up cooking for about an hour, almost an hour, about 55 minutes. And what I did was, after we put it in the oven, I put some crumbles on the top. This is just the leftover crust that we had and we hadn't used. And makes a nice little crunch when you eat it. So
it looks delicious.
We should.
And somebody needs to invent the smell-o-vision. I keep saying that, but nobody listens to me because this smells amazing. Okay, you ready?
All right. Cook, skydive, have fun, and give back.